One of the best positions in grappling is when you're across the person's body in what we call side control. The reason that's an advantage is because you get to apply your weight on your opponent. If you're not using your weight properly, you're not getting the full advantage that you deserve here. So let's just look real briefly at how to apply your weight and manage staying on top of someone in side control. When John's down on his back, head in this direction. That doesn't matter. Okay? This way. Okay? I want to think of his body as a series of sticks, and this is an idea that John actually taught me. Of looking at the body as this lever here, the hips that can roll, the shoulders that can come up or down in that direction, and the spine, which can come up or he can sit up that way. That's all I want to do by thinking of his body. So my task now is to find a way to get as much of my weight as possible off the ground and onto him in a way that I don't get rolled over, number one. Number two, to focus that weight using a smaller part of my body so I get better focus with the weight instead of being spread out all over him. And number three, finding the right spot on these levers to push my weight onto to keep him from being able to move. Okay? So basic drill I do is just starting in a normal side control here. I arch my hip, arch my chest to create less surface area so there's more focus. Lift my butt up in the air and just press down center line into him. Okay? So what a lot of people find is they start to roll forward. So I tell people, back up, get up, and press down into his center line, into his sternum. That's a good way to just get my weight off the ground, knees up, and get my weight onto him. That's number one. Number two is finding the ways to focus my weight. I mentioned puffing out my chest. Sometimes I'll be turning weights onto my shoulders, or onto my hips, or onto my ribs. So as he goes to push me, I can shift weights and be switching my base side to side, dropping onto his neck. It makes it impossible for him to push me off because he can't find exactly where to push. And every time he makes a move, as long as I'm willing to turn and adjust, I get to stay on top. A key point here is holding someone down in side control does not mean immobilizing them. There's no way you're going to hold someone still who's a lot bigger and stronger than you. But by adjusting your position, you can stay on top. So a little drill here is he pushes me away. I switch my base, keeping my hip off the ground, my weight on him. He goes to push my weight off of him. I roll in the other direction, being careful not to catch his fingers. I can mount from here. And then if he starts to try to turn and get on top of me, I work the lever. So if I want this shoulder to go down, I focus my weight against that shoulder. If he starts to roll away and escape, I draw my weight down back onto that shoulder. So by paying attention to all the different ways he can move, it's actually quite easy for me to not let this hip lift, not let that shoulder lift. It's just a very basic idea on how I can distribute my weight over him. For much greater detail, you can visit our website at www.grappling.us.